grow houses every single day. They say the illegal Chinese growers come across the southern U.S.-Mexico border and then travel to Oklahoma to work at the black market grow houses. Larry showed us they're right down the road from his land.
Oh, here's one of the Chinese places right here, and they just built this barn in the last 8 months, and the door's open, by the way. You can stop on the horn, see when it comes out.
Yeah.
Good. I do see a dog. There's a dog. That tells me somebody's here.
No one came out. The truck out front was not here yesterday.
I've heard of stories that they're heavily armed with AK-47s. I mean...
Now, did you hear that, family? They said they had about 15 illegal farms. Illegal grow houses, whatever. 15 across Oklahoma. Across Oklahoma, 15 illegal weed farms. This is your model minority. They crossing the border to work. This is a conglomerate going on here. This is a full-blown out situation where there should be RICO cases going down. And when we say in the black community that we don't commit the most crimes, we're just over-reported. Black Americans, 50-something% of all acquittals are black Americans. But when it comes to these other groups, they underreport these people. And I'm from California. Got all the freaking guns and drugs that come through the Asian community. That's where a lot of the gangbangers go to get weapons. Shutting down 15 houses a day, 15 farms a day. That's a lot of money. That is ridiculous. Let's see if they tell us how many of them they shut down overall.
They say the illegal Chinese growers come across the southern U.S.-Mexico border and then travel to Oklahoma to work at the black market grow houses. Larry showed us they're right down the road from his land.
Oh, here's one of the Chinese places right here, and they just built this barn in the last 8 months, and the door's open, by the way. You can stop on the horn, see when it comes out.
Yeah.
Good. I do see a dog. There's a dog. That tells me somebody's here.
No one came out. The truck out front was not here yesterday.
I've heard of stories that they're heavily armed with AK-47s.
Family, you can't make this up. I don't want to hear nothing about the model minority no more. I don't want to hear nothing about it. A lot of the nonsense that's been going on, people been having last names like Umugo, Dapuri, or some other crazy name I can't pronounce. That being said, the doors of the church are now closed. Peace, man.
60 Minutes Rewind. We're a nation living longer and longer. Over the next 30 years, the number of Americans aged 90 and above is expected to triple. And an NIH-funded research study called 90 Plus at the University of California, Irvine is trying to learn all it can right now from a group of men and women who've already managed to get there. 6 years ago, we first reported on that first set of findings, factors associated with longer life, exercise, moderate drinking of alcohol and caffeine, social engagement, and our favorite, putting on a few pounds as we age. The 90 Plus study's focus is now on memory and dementia. What they've learned and what they haven't to us back, as did the 90 Plusers. Take a quick look when we first met them in 2013.
February 27, 1918. August 25th, 1918.
The men and women ran 6 years ago, all agreed to be checked out by the 90 Plus study team, top to bottom, every 6 months. Their facial muscles.
Excellent.
How they walk. How fast they can stand up and sit down.
Fantastic.
And critically, how they think.
Now spell world backwards. B-L-R-O-W. 3.
They were an impressive and active group, a B-17 gunner in World War II, a fellow World War II vet who drove a convertible, a 95-year-old speed walker, ballroom dancers.
I asked them, aren't you going to ask us any questions about our sex life? And they said no.
And sadly, some who had begun to struggle with dementia.
What is today's date?
Stay.
What's the oldest person you have seen?
I've seen several 116-year-olds.
Neurologist Claudia Kawas, the 90-plus studies lead investigator, says studying the oldest group is increasingly important.
Half of all children born today in the United States is going to reach the 134th birthday.
Half? Half the children born today are going to live to
203 or 4.
I feel a day older than I was yesterday. They invited us back 6 years later, and we found some study participants, like Helen Wild, so now 99. Helen showed us how she exercises in her chair.
How you doing, Jeff?
New model, World War II doctor, turned 500 in August. Lou was using Zoom. Years ago, most homes didn't have a radio. Can you see? Yeah, 6:30 tomorrow, and she does. Because of COVID-19, the 90-plus study is doing cognitive tests by phone.
Subtract 7 from 100
Lou and Helen ace them.
and keep subtracting 7.
93, 86, 79.
Her memory is better than mine.
But one of our favorite 90-plussers from 6 years ago, Ruthie Stahl, is not so lucky. Back then, at 95, she was zipping around in her lime green bug.
I am flying all over the place.
But today, at 102, she didn't remember our having met.
What is your first name?
Leslie.
That's a nice name.
Thank you. Ruthie is as charming and upbeat as ever, but her memory is failing.
The current president or the president before him. I'll take either.
No, I can't.
Do you remember your parents?
No.
No.
It's funny, I don't remember them.
Is it frustrating when you can't remember?
No. It just passes on to something else.
Dr. Kawas says most people, probably even most doctors, would assume Ruthie's memory problems stem from Alzheimer's disease. But scientists are finding out more and more about the complexities of what causes dementia. You hear people say, she got Alzheimer's. She got Alzheimer's. And you should say dementia. That's exactly right. Dementia is loss of thinking abilities, affects memory, language. It's a syndrome. It's a syndrome kind of like headache is a syndrome. You can have a headache because you got way too much, or you can have one because you drank too much. And it's the same with dementia. We were sad to learn that some of the 90-plus participants we met in 2014 have passed away, but by donating their brains, as Ted Rogan did, they are very much still part of the study, contributing some of its most fascinating and confounding results. After a participant dies, the 90-plus team gathers to review mounds of data. Now, because of COVID, they gather on Zoom.
You look friendly with 2. Tell me what you're going to do when you got on today.
Ted's test results showed years of memory problems, as we had seen 6 years ago. The 90-plus team concluded that Ted probably had Alzheimer's disease, but then awaited results from their collaborators, a team of pathologists at Stanford University who independently examined Ted's brain.
They don't know anything except the brain they've got in front of them.
And then you come together.
And then we come together and it's like a reveal party.
The definition of Alzheimer's disease is having the proteins amyloid and tau, often called plaques and tangles, in the brain.
Okay, the home stretch.
But when the Stanford team made their report, Ted's brain didn't have either.
As you may see, without even zooming in, the section is clear, it's clean, the negatives are getting out here.
It actually looks awfully good.
It actually does, yes.
Sit around and look at that. What do you conclude?
The only pathology we found in his head actually was TDP-43.
The story will continue after this. TDP-43, a breakthrough. It's a new method of causing dementia. Protein we can find in ALS patients. The most novel news accounts for up to 1 in 5 cases of dementia in people with dementia. Can you find out if you have TDP-43? And you can't find out if you have 2 other dementia diseases either. Tiny strokes called microinfarcts with damage brain tissue and atherosclerosis, a shrinking discarding of the brain. So it's likely that many people in the 90s who are diagnosed with Alzheimer's were here. They actually have something else.
There's a lot of stuff that we find in the brain that we have no idea. We don't have this. It also is surprising. People have an awful lot of Alzheimer's disease, a lot of TDP disease, and they still turn out to be normal.
Let me hold a chair for you.
That's what happened with Henry Tornell, Helen Wild's ballroom dancing partner, who joked about studying sex over 90. Henry died at 100 of cancer, mentally sharp as ever.
We should all be so lucky.
But his brain told a different story.
Beta amyloid, I don't even have to zoom in. Florid, very positive. Positive as well.
The Stanford team found the highest level of plaques and tangles and TDP-43.
TDP-43.
Especially stunning, since more than one pathology typically means more severe dementia. So he was a huge surprise.
He was one of our surprising 90-year-olds who managed to have good cognition in the face of things in the brain that should cause dementia.
It used to be that when a person like Henry with clear thinking was found to have plaques and tangles, scientists assumed dementia was just a matter of time. But now they're thinking about it in a new way, that maybe certain people have protection against dementia, a phenomenon they're calling resilience. To prove it, though, they need to follow people who are still alive. Enter convertible driving Sid Shiro from our story in 2014. Sid had a PET scan back then for the study, which revealed significant amounts of amyloid in the brain. The question was, would dementia be around the corner, or might Sid somehow be resilient? How old is he?
I always say 69.
Sid has circulation problems that affect his breathing, but his memory? Well, he told us about buying his first car 80 years ago for $18 in a pool hall.
31 Chevy, rumble seat.
A rumble seat.
And I don't know how to drive it.
You won it in a pool hall. Did you win it on
I
a bet?
didn't win it. I bought it.
You bought it?
Gave him $18.
Who sold the car for $18?
He needed the money to shoot pool.
So I know he's got at least 2 pathologies in his head. I know he's got probably high amounts of Alzheimer's, and I know he's got some vascular disease. And we tested him just a couple weeks ago, and
Good morning.
he did great.
Please tell me how many acres in a dollar.
20.
How many spaghetti quarters is $6.75.
27.
Oh, you are quick.
So is that resilience?
I think that is definitely resilience. That might be what resilience is all about.
Could it be a gene?
It absolutely could be. Or maybe even more likely, multiple genes or combinations of genes.
Here's my observation.
Okay.
You knew more 6 years ago than you do now. There are just so many questions that we don't know the answers to. More questions.
That is really a brilliant observation.
And what science is all about. For every new answer, 2 new questions. For every new discovery, like TDP-43 dementia, and especially resilience, new mysteries to solve. So like its participants, the 90-plus study is keeping at it, trying to help the rest of us make it to age 102 with Ruthie's spirit, but memory intact.
It's a shame,
It's a shame.
because there's a lot I could remember.
And I'll bet you had a wonderful life.
Oh, I have. It's still going on. Thank goodness.
Minutes rewind. It's always been a dream of mankind to live forever. Since the start of the 20th century, we have increased life expectancy in this country by a remarkable 30 years, from just 49 in 1900 to almost 79 today. And more of us are making it into that group we all hope and kind of dread joining, the over 90 crowd. Affectionately dubbed the oldest old, men and women above the age of 90 are now the fastest growing segment of the U.S. population. Yet very little is known about the oldest old, since until recently there were so few of them. So what determines which of us will make it past age 90? What kind of shape we'll be in if we do? And what can we do to up our odds? Finding out is the goal of a groundbreaking research study known as 90 Plus.
I was born on April 21st, 1914.
My birthday is February 7th, 1918. I was born August 25th, 1920, and I'm 93 plus.
June 15, 1918, and it was, I'm sure, a lovely day.
Do you feel 95? What age do you
feel about 52. Not really.
What they have in common, other than having lived a combined total of almost 400 years, is that decades ago, they all lived in a retirement community called Leisure World, 45 miles south of Los Angeles.
Hi there, and welcome to Leisure World, a new way of life designed for alert and active people 52 years or older who want to get the most out of life.
Today, it's still a retirement community, and they're still getting the most out of life, though it's no longer called Leisure World. It's now its own city, Laguna Woods.
They didn't like the words leisure world. They consider themselves active.
Active World.
Active world.
Dr. Claudia Kawas spends a lot of time in Laguna Woods these days. She's a neurologist and professor at nearby UC Irvine, who discovered the research equivalent of gold here. Information gathered from thousands of Leisure World residents back in 1981, with page after page of data about their diet, exercise, vitamins, and activities.
14,000 people answered this questionnaire in 1981. Many of them, if they were still alive, would now be over the age of 90.
She saw a rare opportunity to study what worked and what didn't. So did you try to find them?
We went after all 14,000, and if they were still alive, we wanted to find where they were.
With $6 million of funding from the National Institutes of Health, Kawas and her team set out to find out who had died, when they died, and to convince those who were still living and over 90 to sign up.
And how old now?
I'll be 103 months.
We're going to have a party.
Good.
Jane Whistler
I love a party.
is one of the more than 1,600 men and women they found and enrolled as subjects in the 90-plus study. They are checked from top to bottom every 6 months.
Big smile.
Their facial muscles,
Excellent.
reflexes, balance,
3, 4, 5.
how they walk, how fast they can stand up and sit down,
Fantastic.
and most importantly, how their minds are working.
I'm going to say and show you 3 words for you to remember. Shirt, brown, honesty. Shirt, brown, honesty. Perfect. Now please spell world.
They are given an hour-long battery of cognitive and memory tests.
Good. Now spell world backwards.
DLRO.
Asked to connect letters and numbers,
There you go.
and to remember.
All right. What 3 words did I ask you to remember earlier?
Brown.
Shirt. You want a little hint?
Yeah.
Okay. Was that word honesty, charity, or
Honesty.
love?
Yes.
When it's time for your exams in the 90-plus study, do you look forward to it, or
Sure.
do you ever say, oh, they're going to find something, or I'm not going to be able to do as well as I did last time?
Oh yeah, I think that. Sure. But that doesn't stop me. I think it's fun.
Shirt, brown, honesty.
We were struck by what great shape many of the study participants are in.
Excellent. 13 seconds.
Like Lou Torado, a World War II B-17 gunner who was shot down near Berlin and spent 8 months as a German POW. And Sid Sheila, another World War II veteran, who came to talk to us despite having suffered a stroke just a few weeks earlier that slurred his speech.
I am 92 years old and going strong.
Sid drives his car to his test sessions.
You drive a convertible. Do you want the girls to look at you?
They call it a chick car.
Sid, a widower, works out at the fitness center, keeps up with the news and the ladies.
So you're a bachelor.
Yes.
Do you date?
Yes.
Do you have a rich social life?
Yes.
Is it fun?
Yes. Very much so. And I hope to last a long time.
But of course, not everyone is so lucky. When participants like Louise Bigelow, age 97, are too frail to come in for testing, the testers go to them.
An orange and a banana are alike because they're both yellow.
Louise remembers events from long ago, like when her bridal veil caught fire a few minutes after this photo was taken.
Went right into the flames of the candles. So I always had a lot of excitement all the time. And that was the beginning.
You're not going to forget that, ever.
No.
But when it comes to recent memories and thinking skills, she struggles more and more.
And in what way are laughing and crying alike?
I don't know. Brown, honesty, and shirt.
The testers go to 95-year-old Ruthie Stahl's home, too. They go not because she can't come to them. She just doesn't have time.
I'm in my car more than I'm in the house, I think, because I do so many things. What do you do? I am flying all over the place.
Flying, as in speed walking, 3 miles, almost every day.
On Sunday, it's only 2 miles.
Are you on a computer?
Yes, I am, but I'm having trouble with my computer.
I had a computer for 10 years and enjoyed it, but it died.
Jane outlived her computer. At almost 100, she's done a lot of outliving.
We were all bridge players. We play bridge and have dinner, and well, have some of them died. They've all
They've all died.
everyone.
Oh my goodness.
I'm the only one left.
So what was it that got these people into their 90s?
So you've never had a stroke?
No.
While their spouses, friends, and colleagues
Never had hardly anything.
dropped out along the way.
What's your secret?
I wish I knew.
Genes clearly contribute to longevity, says Kawas, but they aren't everything. Jane Whistler's parents both died when she was young.
Well, whatever your secrets are, by being in the study, we're going to try to find them out.
So you can go back and look at their medical history.
Everybody in the study filled out that questionnaire in the early 1980s.
And comparing that data to how it's all turned out has yielded a slew of published findings about behaviors associated with living longer. So what's the verdict? No surprise, smokers died earlier than non-smokers. And what about exercise?
People who exercised definitely lived longer than people who didn't exercise. A little as 15 minutes a day on average made a difference. 45 was the best. Even 3 hours didn't beat 45 minutes a day.
That's interesting.
And it didn't all have to be at once. It could be, for example, 15 minutes of walking and then later in the day, gardening or something. And it also didn't have to be very intense exercise.
And non-physical activities, book clubs, socializing with friends, board games, all good.
For every hour you spent doing activities in 1981, you increased your longevity. And the benefit of those things never leveled off.
The subjects we spoke to had definitely been active, but they didn't strike us as having lived their lives worrying about their health.
But I'm not a big vitamin coach.
Have you watched over the years what you ate?
Not really.
Dessert?
Sure, I love dessert.
I always had a glass of wine before dinner, and now I still do, but I can't quite finish it.
Clean living, huh?
No.
No, not clean living.
I don't know what clean living is.
What about alcohol?
Sure, love wine.
Do you take vitamins?
Yes, a lot of them.
So which vitamins helped? Antioxidants?
Okay, vitamin E, we're sitting at the edge of our chairs. Did it make a difference?
It was my favorite, but
No.
people who took vitamin E didn't live any longer than people who didn't take vitamin E.
They also looked at vitamin A, C, and calcium.
The short answer is none of them made a difference.
None of them made a difference to living
In terms of how long you live.
What about alcohol?
No, alcohol made a difference.
But it may not be what you think.
Moderate alcohol was associated with living longer than individuals who did not consume
Wait a
alcohol.
minute. Moderate alcohol, you live longer?
Yes.
Up to 2 drinks a day led to a 10 to 15% reduced risk of death compared to non-drinkers.
Isn't that exciting?
And any kind of alcohol seemed to do the trick.
A lot of people like to say it's only red wine.
Yeah.
In our hands, it didn't seem to matter.
Martini's just as good.
Yeah.
And there's good news for coffee drinkers. Caffeine intake equivalent to 1 to 3 cups of coffee a day was better than more or none. And if you're concerned about those bulging waistlines, listen to this.
It turns out that the best thing to do as you age is to at least maintain or even gain weight.
Gain weight. So being a little overweight is good?
Being obese is never good.
And being overweight as a young person wasn't good either. But late in life, they found people who were overweight or average weight both outlived people who were underweight.
It's not good to be skinny when you're old.
But living a long time, even if we don't have to watch our waistlines, isn't the only thing most of us care about. We want to be all there to enjoy it. Thank you very much. And it's in the areas of Alzheimer's and dementia that the 90 Plus study is generating some of its most provocative and surprising findings. We'll tell you about that. And one more thing. Romance. After 90?
How's your sex life? You brought it up.
When we come back.
The story will continue after this.
We are a nation getting older. By the middle of the century, the number of Americans aged 90 and above is projected to quadruple. While that's good news for those of us who want to stick around, it also means more time literally to start to lose our minds. Dementia, including that most dreaded form, Alzheimer's disease, is a looming threat and a primary focus of the 90 Plus study. Participants are asked to donate their brains to the study after they die, so researchers can compare what they saw in life to the secrets buried deep within. And the picture isn't always matching up, bringing new discoveries and new questions about what may actually be causing dementia in the oldest old and what we may be able to do about it.
You know, I think that it was common belief that if you got to 90 and you didn't have dementia or Alzheimer's, that you weren't going to get it.
Unfortunately, no. I really expected to find that. But in our study, that's not to happen.
It's not true.
No.
Oh, 62.
It turns out the risk of developing dementia doubles every 5 years, starting at the age of 65, and it keeps right on doubling.
Bingo!
And given the growth in numbers of the oldest old by mid-century,
We are going to have more people with dementia over the age of 90 than we currently have at all ages put together.
We're not even thinking about it.
We should be.
as charming and engaging as all the 90-plussers we met were, one who we were particularly moved by was 96-year-old Ted Rosenbaum, a former American history teacher who's been married for 63 years.
You still look lovely to me. I was very lucky. So now at this stage of the game, if it's petering out, just reminiscing about our past is a source of incalculable joy.
An orange and a banana are alike because they're both
Fruits.
Exactly.
Ted did well in parts of the 90-plus exam, like repeating long strings of numbers backwards.
6, 1, 8, 4, 3.
3, 4, 8, 1, 6.
But when it came time to remember the 3 words she had told him just 40 seconds earlier,
3 words.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he was lost.
3 words.
And that wasn't his only problem.
What is today's date?
Today's date? Today's date.
Does he have dementia at this point?
Yes, Ted has dementia. You know, unfortunately, there's no blood test, there's no x-ray. It's an examiner finding out that an individual has problems in 2 or more of the main things the brain does for them. So that's where he is.
And what's perhaps the most devastating is he knows it.
My worst condition is my memory.
When you can't remember something, what goes on inside you?
Terrible frustration, terrible, it's having more and more of a negative impact on me psychologically.
Determining what's behind his memory loss isn't easy, since diseases like Alzheimer's can only be definitively diagnosed in the brain after death. So it's after the 90-plussers die that a new round of sleuthing begins. When subjects in the study donate their brains, they come here to neuropathologist Dr. Ronald Kim. He showed us one of the things he always looks for, the plaques and tangles in the brain that are the telltale signs of Alzheimer's disease.
It forms all of these plaques.
All these brown spots
Yes,
are plaques.
that's correct. And in an individual like this, I would expect the patient to be demented.
Newspapers every day?
Yes, I read in the evening.
Maureen Bigelow spent 5 years in the study. He passed away last summer, and while Dr. Kim studies his brain, the rest of the 90-plus team independently reviews years of his test results and videos to assess whether he had developed dementia, and if so, from what. While early on his scores were strong,
Who's our president?
Obama.
over the years there was a gradual but unmistakable decline. He'd pick up a newspaper he had just finished, use the TV remote to try and make a phone call.
Do you know who's the president?
I want to say Herbert Hoover.
Okay.
No, I can't think of it.
Remember his age? Anxious?
The consensus here was likely Alzheimer's, which presumes a brain with plaques and tangles.
Are we ready to hear the truth?
Only then do they open up Dr. Kim's report.
Plaques, 0, so no plaques.
Wow.
No portable tangles anywhere.
That's pretty amazing.
What's amazing is they're finding that 40% of the time in people over 90, what doctors would think is Alzheimer's isn't. In Lauren Bigelow's brain, Dr. Kim found something else, something the 90-plus study is finding quite a bit. Evidence of tiny microscopic strokes called microinfarcts. His brain was full of them.
Here's a microinfarct. It's the whole, which is basically a tiny stroke.
So you've got all this tissue is missing.
If you find one, it suggests that you should probably look for others, and some patients may have hundreds or thousands of them.
These microscopic strokes are insidious because people don't even know they're having them.
They can be totally silent, and slowly but surely over time, you're disconnecting your cortex from the rest of the brain, and then you start to become demented, just like Alzheimer's disease clinically.
Do you know anything we can do to prevent these mini strokes?
I wish I did, but I will soon, I hope.
Kaywa suspects one thing that may cause them is low blood pressure, and she has some evidence. While none of the factors from the original Leisure World study, vitamins, alcohol, caffeine, even exercise, seem to lower people's risk of getting dementia, the 90-plus study discovered that high blood pressure did.
If you have high blood pressure, it looks like your risk of dementia is lower.
Lower.
Than if you don't have
High blood pressure, lower risk of dementia.
In a 90-year-old.
High blood pressure is still dangerous if you're younger. Yet another reason, she says, it's so important to study the oldest old.
Most of what we know, we study in much younger individuals, and 50, 60, maybe 70-year-olds, and then we just kind of assume that the same thing should happen in older people.
And you're saying we shouldn't?
I think we shouldn't.
Take this next counterintuitive finding, this time in the 90-plus subjects who have no dementia.
We're finding out that if you die without dementia in this age group, about half the time you still have plaques and tangles in your head.
No. So you can exhibit Alzheimer's and not have plaques and tangles half the time, and the reverse?
Both directions.
You're fine and you do have plaques and tangles? So what do you make of that?
I mean, one possibility is the plaques and tangles have nothing to do with it. But it might be that plaques and tangles are very, very important, but just a 90-year-old who hasn't and didn't develop thinking problems has some way of getting around them that maybe all the rest of us would like to know.
So now they're looking at people with no signs of dementia, like Ruthie Stahl, Lou Torado, Sid Shero, and Jane Whistler, to see if they have plaques and tangles, but are not affected by them. There's a new type of PET scan that for the first time makes it possible to find plaques during life.
Let me help you with that.
So the 90-plus study is engaged in the delicate task of putting 99-year-olds like Jane Whistler into scanners. Sid Shero, at 92, hopped right in.
Jane and Sid both have very, very, very good thinking, as you saw.
Yes, definitely.
And it turns out that one of their scans is positive and one is negative.
She showed them to us, one on top of the other. Yellow and red indicate the presence of amyloid plaque.
This is Miss Whistler and this is Mr. Shero.
Well, I'm surprised, having talked to him, that I'm seeing yellow and red here. Kind of stunning.
Hello, Mr. Shero.
Dr. Kaywas.
So what does that mean for Sid? The positive scan means statistically he's at greater risk of cognitive decline. But Dr. Kaywa says the fact that he's doing so well in spite of the plaque in his brain and his stroke means he may have that something protective and special that could help the rest of us. She says they'll be keeping a close watch on him. If it's unclear that the pathology hooks up with what you're seeing, what does that mean in your mind?
I think we're looking for too simple an answer. I think we want one thing to explain Alzheimer's. Look at something different, like what makes skin wrinkle? Well, I mean, getting older makes skin wrinkle. Being in the sun too much makes skin wrinkle. Not taking care of your diet. And you put all those together and they all contribute. And I think it might turn out to be the same for our thinking, especially in like life. That it's not just Alzheimer's pathology from plaques or not just microinfarcts, but the number of these hits that you take. And after a while, you can't withstand them all.
Let me hold the chair for you.
There's one last thing we wondered about in the over 90 crowd, and that's romance. Helen Weil, 92, and Henry Tornell, 94, both widowed, have been dating for 3 years. So do you see each other every day, several times every day, once a day? How does it
Catch
work?
1 day off a week.
It's true. Tuesday is a day off. It's my day off. Helen and Henry love being part of the 90-plus study, and both have signed up to donate their brains after they die. Henry has only one problem with the whole enterprise. What the study hasn't answered.
I asked them, why don't you ask us any questions about our sex life? And they said no.
Well, I will. How's your sex life? You brought it up. See, it's funny. I'm not laughing. How's your sex life? He's blushing. He's blushing. But is that part of, do you think that has something to do with...
I would say it has a big part.
Helen, you're very emotional. You're very affectionate. But do you think that sex is an important part of staying young?
Yes.
Okay, are we all ready?
The 90-plus study has just gotten another 5-year round of NIH funding to delve deeper into risk factors for specific types of dementia, like those microinfarcts, and to search for genes that may be protective in their continuing search for the secrets of the oldest old.
I really believe that when we learn things from the 90-year-olds, they're going to be helping the 60 and 70-year-olds, not just how to become 90-year-olds, but how to do it with style and as good a function as possible.
Well, obviously you've already started that by telling us that we should have some wine, and we should have some coffee.
And socialize, and exercise.
And gain weight.
And that's my favorite.
I think that's
A broken heart is one of the most painful things a person can endure. CBS's Steve Hartman goes on the road and finds it's never too late when love is meant to be.
For most of her adult life, 69-year-old Jean Gustafson has suffered from chronic regret.
Can't turn back the clock. I wish I could.
Would you do anything different?
Yes, I would have married him. I would have married him.
As we first reported a few months ago, what Jean so regrets is breaking up with her college sweetheart,
So this was the spring of '72.
a guy she met in the German club at Loyola University in Chicago.
This is Steve and I in the back here.
Jean says he would have made the perfect husband,
A lot of memories here.
if only he'd been white.
My mother was absolutely livid.
What did she say?
What didn't she say? How could I disgrace the family? It was not pretty.
Partly because of those pressures, Jean broke up with Steve Watts and never saw him again, until last year, when she tracked him down at this Chicago nursing home.
What I found was sort of a broken man.
Like Jean, Steve was divorced with no kids, but life for him had been much harder. He'd fallen on terrible times. He was homeless, had 2 strokes, and was almost unrecognizable the day Jean walked back into his life.
But he's still a wonderful, gorgeous man that I knew.
Did all those feelings come rushing back?
Yes, for both of us.
And so, with her mother no longer in the way, Jean made arrangements to move Steve from the nursing home to her home in Portland, Oregon.
I feel terribly lucky that I get a second chance. Steve?
Steve's health issues have left him bedridden, but his mind is sharp and his heart young. In fact, if you listen closely, you can still hear his devotion, unwavering after all these years.
Olive. After.
Racism drove its wedge, and love wormed its way back, permanently. A few weeks ago, 43 years after her mom laid their love asunder, Jean and Steve were married, newlyweds, now well on their way to making up for a lifetime of lost time. Steve Hartman, CBS News, on the road.
In 6 days, we will mark 1 year since the COVID outbreak was declared a pandemic. But as the world was shutting down, something special was blooming. Here's CBS's Steve Hartman on the road.
This has been the worst year for dating, bar none, movie none, and restaurants with all the ambiance of a parking meter. But here, along the banks of the Hudson River in upstate New York, we found a couple of singles who are making it work despite the pandemic.
Wait a minute, get me glasses up.
And that awkward eyewear.
That's it for the week.
John Schultz
He's a lot of baloney.
and his girlfriend, Joy Morrow Knowlton, are both 94, each widowed twice, and each determined to find love yet again. They're now vaccinated, but had to be in a bubble most of the year.
Did you ever think it was just too hard?
No.
She was worth it. It was a pain in the neck, though. Perseverance.
Pete Schultz is John's son.
They would call every day. They'd find a way to get together, but they did whatever it took. You haven't held hands with me all day, by the way.
Oh, man.
What it took, they say, was a return to simple pleasures, like long drives to nowhere, batting balloons around the house, and a whole lot of selflessness.
She bought me a walker.
She bought you a walker?
$159, I think.
Whoa.
I told you she had money. She did have it. She bought me a walker.
Not to be outdone, John bought her a little something too, although he had to pop the question way more than once.
Oh, dozens.
Dozens?
Finally, I said okay.
Wait, what made you finally say yes?
When we had snow days this year, and I didn't come up here, I missed him.
This week, John and Joy held a rehearsal for their spring wedding. It'll be the silk purse at the end of this sow's year. All possible because these romantics realized early on that a good date is nothing more than good company.
There's some ice floes right out in the middle there.
Steve Hartman.
In fact, there's a whole line of them.
On the road in Kingston, New York.
And there's nothing better than finding your special someone.
Finally tonight, how do you fight the hate and violence we witnessed at the Orlando nightclub? Steve Hartman may have found an answer on the road.
At the University of Montevallo in Alabama, sophomore music major Jesse Johnson was devastated.
My heart sank inside of my chest.
After the Orlando attack, he says he wanted to mourn, but couldn't. At least not with the sincerity he wanted to.
In the back of my mind, I kept thinking, I can't show the sorrow that I have inside without first explaining to the world why I have that much sorrow.
So after hearing the news, Jesse sat down with his phone and did the most daring thing of his life. He typed out a message for his Facebook page, stared at it for the longest time, before finally mustering up the courage to click post.
I just did it.
The note read in part, I've thought about coming out for months, was afraid of being shunned by those I care about, over something that makes me who I am. I'm not going to change. I am gay, and I love you all.
I wanted to officially be a part of that community that was hurting and that needed as many people come together and stand with.
A lot of people came out after Orlando, but few took as big a risk as Jesse Johnson. Jesse's family lives in Jemison, Alabama, in the heart of the Bible Belt. Fly, fly here, and better have just red, white, blue.
I'm worried for his safety because of that. Let me just say that Alabama.
Jesse's mother, Nikki Johnson.
I personally will never understand the parents that turn their back on their kids. I love them. Nothing will change.
When someone shoots up a gay line, that kind of acceptance is not what he's aiming for. Jesse says the majority of his family and friends have been remarkably supportive. By doing so, they have helped turn his lifetime of fear into his future of belonging.
We're going to stand together regardless of how afraid we are.
And that's how you make a terrorist die in vain. Steve Hartman, on the road, in Montevallo, Alabama.
In any marriage, there are challenges. You just don't expect them in the very first hour. Here's CBS's Steve Hartman on the road.
Bride and groom, Elizabeth and Jake Landon, say their wedding was like a fairy tale. Was.
The ceremony was perfect.
Everything we could have dreamed of until...
So my dad was doing his father of the bride speech, and just a minute in, he was interrupted by some of our guests.
House on fire.
And that was the end of that. The cottage right next to their wedding venue on Mackinac Island, Michigan caught fire, and everyone had to evacuate the area. This is a picture of the newly fleds abandoning their reception.
I didn't know where we were going. I just figured we had to walk away from that.
So we just started heading towards the church.
The church where they'd just been married. This time, they prayed for everyone's safety. And in the end, no one was hurt, and even the building was saved. Seemed like the only thing that couldn't be salvaged was their wedding day. But unbeknownst to the bride and groom, while they were in that church praying, angels were swooping in from all over town.
What the hell? Motherfucker. Who is a good girl? It is my Charlie girl.
Hunter.
Hey, you. Awesome. Thanks, Hunter. Getting back out there feels like the first step toward rebirth.
My friend sense is tingling.
Salutations.
Is this another movie night? And if so, where is...
It's...
That goes with...
Well,
That's...
We survived.
You were lucky.
Pull up a stool, Hunter. Never too early to get caffeinated. Stark convinced me to put a shot of his new Stark drive in.
Stark? This group does not waste time. We will strike at Hydra and Transia quickly, and we will win.
Now there's a real rah-rah spirit I can get behind. I've got no time for long stays overseas. I don't like to pack a toothbrush, and my transient is pretty terrible.
It makes sense that Lilith would go back there. Back to her homeland, that is. Back to the source of her powers.
She's gonna be in for a real nasty shock if she's looking for home. It's not like the old days with the Knights of Wundagore riding around the place. Red Skull and Hydra did a pretty good job of screwing Transia up in every way possible.
people of Transia are good at heart. There is natural beauty there. We can still save the country from the destruction brought upon it.
We go smash Hydra, and while we're there, we'll plant some trees? Sounds like a plan.
It looks like the others are gathering now in the war room.
Yep, I'll head that way myself. Just need a few more sips of sweaty gym sock. I gotta talk to Stark about getting some new flavors.
Focus, Robbie. Focus.
How's it going, boss? I'll make something great out of this. How long did you say you were exposed to this thing? It's... Sometimes, I even impress myself.
I just hope you brought me something interesting. I was under the impression this artifact no longer existed. A truly...
See ya, Hunter.
focus, please.
Point to Transio on the map.
Ain't gonna go easy, bub. Nice match, kid.
Ready to work?
Just give me a target.
See you around. More chit-chat. I'm gonna wait near Magic.
Hey, can I ask a favor? Thanks, Hunter.
So, I read it.
As a fellow time. Yeah.
Is there anything you can tell us about Transia that might give us an edge?
Transia is a country in trauma. Their borders could easily destabilize at any moment. The people there, they have seen so much war, trauma, and pain. We must spare them at all costs.
Right. I'm packing coffee pods. Anything you like?
Yes, the coffee shop cinnamon blend. Good call, Ileana. Transia is known for lots of trauma, war.
To think, long ago the nation of Transia was once the...
What if we aim for his heart or something?
He's not a vampire. He's a gamma-powered muscle man.
Juiced up with a heavy dose of Lilith's corruption.
In other words, we're screwed.
Look, I know Lilith is like a dark goddess with an extra angry Hulk as her number 2.
Don't forget the Parchment of Power. She's got that too, which is like super OP.
But we've got something that she doesn't.
A death wish?
No, dude. We've got friends. Each other. We're the Midnight Suns. And you know what we Suns do?
We rise.
We've got this, guys. We have to believe in ourselves if we're gonna pull this off. Blade, Robbie, you know what to do, right?
We'll see you soon, Nico.
Better not leave me hanging, because our entire continued existence depends on us.
Right. No pressure. It's just the end of the world.
Not if we can help it.
I'll be monitoring the troops' movements from here. You have a small window to strike the facility and get out.
What if we like...
Slime bubbles, demon energy barriers, or jolly green monsters?
Then they're ours.
That room.
Lilith, too. So it was here, all along. Wanda was right.
She usually is.
Right, one problem at a time. Midnight Suns, assemble! Or whatever.
Yes. Midnight Suns assemble or whatever.
Why not?
It looks as if Lilith has sent every last Hydra goon she could find to guard the entrance.
Between the creepy glow and the howling demonic Hulk, I think we're running out of time.
We must not let them stand in our way.
Watch that one.
Good work.
No mercy for the servants of Lilith. Hail that! Talk while you still can.
Never surrender. No retreat.
How original.
No time to run.
There is no place to hide.
To think this was once hallowed ground, long before Lilith was entombed here.
Too bad it was Hydra that finally stuck around.
Chthon has been waiting eons for this moment. I'm not giving Hydra any more credit than I have to.
Nor should you.
This could prove powerful. So it begins. Powerful sorcery. Excellent. Prepare yourself. There are worse things than death, and I can make them happen for you. Here's one for ya.
And don't come back. Make this easy on both of us. Times is that now?
I've been waiting for this.
Let's help them out. Ugh, I still don't get why these guys keep fighting. It can't be the money. What else do mercenaries take in trade?
We both know what Lilith offers them, Nico. A false promise of eternity catered to every corrupted mind.
A spell carried on silent whispers.
Now is not the time to romanticize our peril.
A chance at revenge.
Your time has come.
Whatever works.
I am impressed.
Be happy you can still draw breath.
Hydra! Taking the shot. Your death won't be in vain.
The Knights of Wundagore held rituals of their own not far from here. They believed this land was cursed.
A well-justified conclusion.
Wundagore resonates with the dark energies of Cthon. Even the mountain could not contain his vile influence forever.
They're repositioning!
I'll give it a whirl.
I saw a move like that once, centuries ago.
Whatever works for you.
Position compromised.
Ow! Quit it!
You are not ready for me.
Not to sound cocky, but some horrible Lilith monster would have been a lot more interesting than Hydra.
You may eventually come to regret those words, Nico.
Yeah, that occurred to me just as I was saying it. Oh well. This should be good. You guys really don't know what you're in for, do you? Buy us some time! Get inside while you can! Leave that to me!
Punch it!
Hell yeah!
You alone among your kind can serve as the conduit of my power, precious child. Liber tenebris reversus es nobis. Only a few moments longer. Together we will reforge the Darkhold and usher in...
It's over, lady!
Mother, no! Stop this!
Lucky shot. She won't hit me again.
But it is all for you. Everything I do is always for you, child.
Block her out! She gave up the right to call you that word when she sold her soul to that monster.
The truth shall reveal itself soon enough, sister.
Even with her attention focused on that damn book, Lilith's barrier will not be easy to bring down.
Yeah, but the cave sure is.
Midnight suns, disassemble.
Now you're talking.
It's not the most elegant solution, but bringing the roof down on them will certainly put a damper on things.
Should've hit a few of those columns with the hell ride. I'm gonna tell Robbie you said that. I fail her. That'll work. Watch me. Nice. I'm on it. Come get it.
You have earned this!
Blood will heal all! We serve until the end! Your suffering grows with every... We honor our covenant! Join our fight!
They are still set on me.
Do not waste your strength here, child. What has been set in motion cannot be undone. Will not be undone.
You have the power to stop this, Mother!
A debt of blood is owed, and a debt of blood shall be paid. Chthon will rise.
There's no convincing her. You know what you have to do.
Let us take them down together!
That's how it's done.
You had your chance to escape. Weak, even for Hydra.
time to catch my breath.
Sarah, my sister. It's been far too long.
Don't speak as if you know me, demon. You haven't been my sister for centuries.
It saddens me to hear you say that. But there's still time for you to see things his way.
No one calling themselves a Midnight Sun will ever join your corrupted ranks. I promise you that.
Watch close. Judgment comes. The fire burns brighter still. Accept your fate.
Some for the rest of us.
Know their feet.
Now that was something.
About time.
I see not much has changed among the worlds. They have not lost interest.
Lilith may have found the one man capable of withstanding the dark energies of that book long enough to fully restore it.
Banner's been nothing but trouble since this whole thing started.
We both know what it is like to have a power that others desire, Blade.
Maybe, but I don't rip my clothes off and go berserk whenever I'm in a bad mood. Fight on! Suffer! You bring judgment upon yourself. Get some!
Can't possibly match your strength.
Deja vu. Anyone that touches me is going down. Stark should have just nuked this place from orbit. You know he's got one somewhere.
We have enough problems with the Hulk as it is. I doubt that would calm his temper.
I say we do it anyway. Burn them all! The spirit rises. Playtime's over.
You were too weak for this fight.
By my side. Don't blink. Give the mother my regards in hell. I fail her. You will not be forgotten for this. They walk the same. Time to bleed. None will be spared.
I saw a move like that once, centuries ago.
I suppose it's something. None are forgiven. Vengeance is near. Job done. And I thought a man thing was ugly.
We must help them.
If you still want it, come and get it. I return for the guilty. That barrier is still holding!
Liber tenebris, reversus es nobis.
Get out of there, now! You've done more than anyone could ask!
Almost! Yo, demon lady! One thing, before we go. This is for
Johnny Blaze!
No! The spell must not be interrupted!
Now we may leave!
Mother.
Your mother died centuries ago. Now get out of there!
Predators.
What's wrong?
Everything.
Are you seeing this?
Yes, Robbie, I have eyes.
Dude, that's so freaking crazy.
Book club tonight. You in?
Meet you there.
See you there.
Yeah?
Welcome to book club.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't realize Steve knew the author. I really should have read this when he first asked.
Let's get this started.
I am ready.
Before we start, I want to welcome Logan to the book club. What did you think of the book?
I didn't read it.
Okay then, guess I'll start. Steve, I really enjoyed this book.
What stood out to you?
I know people have different approaches to leading others, but I never considered what drives them to do so. Take Custer. He led from the front and was mostly loved by his troops, but his drive for personal glory affected every choice he made. Eventually, Custer picked a fight he couldn't handle. His recklessness led to the death of himself and every soldier he commanded.
His mistake was making decisions to elevate his own standing instead of his troops.
Makes sense. The better they do, the more he gets credit for leading them to victory. I think the biggest lesson, beyond don't be Custer, is that an outsized ego is a double-edged sword for a leader.
Also, you can't just get through life with a pretty face.
I thought you didn't read the book.
I didn't, but I picked things up from context.
I learned more about George Washington from this book than anything I was taught in school.
Yeah, that surprised me as well.
Before this, I associated him with statues, paintings, and the dustiest parts of American history. But here we see a military leader whose personal ambition was the victory of his army. He was clear-eyed about his goals and knew how to get out of his own way. Washington led from the top, though he kept counsel with various advisors. Once he made a decision, he expected his subordinates to follow his orders.
For less capable people, that sounds far too rigid a way to lead.
Yeah, I find it's best to leave some wiggle room. Give your people objectives and the resources to achieve them. More than anyone else in the book, Washington believed true leadership is a contract bestowed upon you by those whom you lead.
And that's where the book gets its title?
Right. The mantle of authority. It's something that augments you.
Which brings us to our final profile.
We really don't have to do this one.
And now I'm interested.
Steve, how long have you bugged me to read this?
Not because of the chapter on me. You all know General Phillips selected me for the Super Soldier program. For a time, he commanded me in the field, and that's why my profile is in the book. He was kind to say I led by example. Maybe that's how it used to be. But the Avengers isn't a military organization. If I gave Tony an order, he'd laugh in my face. To get anything done, I need the group's consensus. I can't give pretty speeches about the need to sacrifice. I have to show that putting in the effort today will make a better tomorrow.
You could order me a pizza.
Nope, we're too far from New York City.
That is a shame. Pizza could build consensus.
You're not wrong. That's how I used to get the Hulk on board. But I find little enjoyment in talking about myself, so yeah, let's end it here.
All right, we'll call it here. Next month is... Hunter, do you have any books to suggest?
None from the past few centuries.
Then Logan could pick the next one.
Sure. The Adventures of Crash Morgan number 5, The Last Queen of Deimos.
What is that exactly?
It's about a space explorer with a ray gun, a jetpack, and a fishbowl helmet. Travels through space with a robot dog. They get in wacky adventures.
That's a classic. A buddy of mine had that in basic.
I'm always up for space nonsense.
I'm not, but that's the book. I'll give it a shot.
I'm not... You are... Come on.
What?
I just...
I'm actually...
What?
Well,
You The name alone has me in... You welcomed a resurrected demon slayer into your life?
Cannot. When you...
Good call.
On...
I am taking off.
Peace.
Wanda, there's something I ought to say to you.
Oh?
You were right about Lilith's tomb.
Did you just say I was right about something?
I did. Just as you were probably right about other things, too. Many other things. You let an old, stubborn immortal let you take the blame for so much.
You were hurting. You needed something to point to.
And here I was thinking I was the one who was supposed to take care of all of you. I am sorry, Wanda. For everything.
So am I.
I see you and Caretaker are on the mend.
Seems so. I grew up in Transia, you know. It's all destroyed now.
The casualties Transia has suffered these last few days. We will avenge each and every one of them.
I really hope we can.
It is not a matter of can, Wanda. We must. The world depends on it, literally.
Whatever it takes to stop your mom, right?
Whatever it takes.
I'm afraid of her, you know. Of seeing her. I mean, what if it happens again? What if she turns me back into bad Wanda? What if I go dark?
If it came to that, we would find a way of removing her corruption again.
I appreciate that, but I don't think you're going to have time for all that while you're also trying to stop Chthon from tentacle climbing into this dimension.
You're right. We probably would not have time to save you.
You wouldn't?
I'm joking.
You almost got me there.
No one is leaving you behind, ever again.
Promise?
Cross my heart.
Well, I ought to get back to the news. See what new horrors are befalling my hometown.
Do not watch too much of it. The overconsumption of news media is supposed to be bad for your mental health, especially during an apocalypse.
There are worse things for your mental health, Hunter, and I'm pretty sure I've experienced them all. I'll take my chances with a little cable news. Night.
The mysterious structure, which has
I
been
hope
described
Aunt May
as
isn't
some
watching
kind
this
of
because she's
ancient
going to
temple,
flip.
has suddenly appeared in the war-torn Republic
I try
of
to stop
Transia,
it, but
decimating a
I
remote
screwed
village
up,
at the
Robbie.
base of Mount
It's
Wonderful.
okay, you can
These
say it.
images,
Doesn't
taken
matter
by
who
tourists,
screwed up.
have been reposted
What
over
matters
2
is that
million
we're
times
screwed.
on every social media outlet with the hashtag #ApocalypseWow.
We're in the end game now.
I wouldn't have guessed we'd become such fast friends, Hunter, but I welcome your company.
Let me guess. You came to rub it in? Tell me the Midnight Suns are just a bunch of Hero Academy dropouts who are in over their heads?
I'm not here to rub anything in. I came here to say, I thought what you did back there was brave. And bold.
Yeah, right. You mean brave and stupid?
You weren't being stupid. You did what you thought was right. Sometimes, we can do everything in our power to stop a bad thing from happening and still fall flat on our faces. Just keep your chin up and remember, failure is an essential part of the superhero gig. I mean, look at me. I haven't exactly been batting 1,000 these days, but that doesn't seem to have slowed down my ego any.
Well, wait. Are you, actually being nice to me?
Well, nothing like impending doom to bring people together. But seriously, I admire what you tried to pull off back there. Took a lot of guts. Maybe next time, you'll get the glory.
Thanks, Tony.
Anytime, Nico.
Yay, we did it. Ugh, the first time we're actually trusted to sit in the driver's seat, the first freaking time, and we couldn't stop her. We dropped a mountain on her head, and Lilith still managed to summon the Temple of Chthon. Way to go, team.
It is not the end of the world, Nico.
Yes, it is. Like it's literally the end of the world. The Temple of Chthon is here, and soon giant flying squid god will come to feast on all of our souls.
Nico, I am not going to let that happen. Chosen one, remember?
How come you always manage to say the exact right thing to make me feel better?
It is one of my secret superpowers.
You mean not so secret superpower? Alright, I'm gonna stay out here a while and lick my wounds for a little bit longer. Thanks for, checking up on me.
Anytime.
How goes it, Hunter? Or is it the Hunter?
The goddess must be busy. You have gone too far, Mother.
I could say the same to you, child. Leaving me for dead and buried under that mountain. What a way to treat your mother.
One look at Transia tells me everything I need to know. Sarah was right. My mother died centuries ago.
Pains me to hear you say that. Especially when everything I have done has...
Do not say it. Do not tell me you have unleashed all those horrors in my name.
I do not need to. All will be revealed soon. The Darkhold is finally complete. The prophecy draws to its close. The Midnight Sun is coming, and with it, him. We will all have our final parts to play. Will you be ready when the curtain rises?
It is not I who seems to be wrestling with their destiny. What are you not telling me, Mother?
Such an inquisitive and perceptive child. You remind me of him, you know.
I thought we could not talk about him here.
Don't be ridiculous, not him. Him, your father. The similarities are impossible to ignore.
I have never heard of you speak of him until now.
We close upon the end of a billion years prophecy. Forgive me if I'm a bit... sentimental. I sometimes wonder if I could bring his soul to this place. To have him stand once more beside me. Beside us.
I implore you, do not. In his death, he has been spared the sight of the foul creature you have become. I envy him for that. What? No snappy comeback? Promises that we shall be reunited under the glorious eye of the Midnight Sun?
No, child. Not this time.
I will see if I can find you a treat later. Agatha?
I'm sorry to intrude, dear. Do you have a moment?
For you? Of course.
You always came to me for advice when vexed by a difficult problem. Never Sarah.
That is called playing one parent against the other.
I know. And I always gave advice Sarah would have given, if you hadn't both quarreled over every tiny thing.
I thought so. Was she there, but invisible? Did she whisper your advice through lost sorceries of the blood?
Of course not. Hunter, we spoke about you constantly. The weight of prophecy should never fall on a child. So we tried to give you room to be your own person.
I had no idea. What did you want to discuss?
I don't know how to say this without sounding melodramatic, but... despite our actions, the prophecy unfolds. Chthon's return seems inevitable. Yet all I can do for the people I love is haunt a library and play macabre tour guide.
Agatha...
I should be here with Sarah and yourself, helping to bring the team together. But I never have felt more... useless. I'm sorry, Hunter. I'll leave you to your rest.
Agatha, wait.
Good night.
Agatha. Hunter, I'm coming in. Where is she? I heard you speaking with her.
I am surprised you can hear Agatha.
Then you don't deny it?
Why would I? Especially to you.
Why didn't you tell me earlier? Why didn't you tell Caretaker?
Nobody would have believed me.
I would have believed you.
Only if you knew me enough to trust me.
Clearly, we aren't there yet.
That is exactly my point.
So what now?
Next time I see her, I will tell her. And then, hopefully, the three of us will talk.
All right. I'm trusting you, Hunter.
Good night.
I just wanted to say I appreciate you leaning on me.
I am not too worried about Sabretooth, seeing as how I died once at the hands of my own mother.
Sabretooth's a cold-blooded killer.
My mother is a demonic goddess.
Okay, you win. Nothing scares me much these days, except getting close to people. Because when I get close to someone, bad things tend to happen to them. So, I guess what I'm saying is, thanks for being a pal. And watch your back. Remember that time we fought together in Madripoor?
I'm quite pleased with these results.
Hey Doc, I was thinking, what if you or magic opened up a portal and I could create a large-scale moving platform? Welcome to Tony's Scary Demon Cave. I'm Tony, and how may I assist you today? If this thing behind me turns into a giant gateway to ancient Egypt, I'm quitting. Take your pick, Hunter. I'll make something great out of this. Sometimes, I even impress myself.
Please tell me it's not another amulet. If it were up to Tony, you'd probably be stuck. Now, this is magic. The mystic arts require concentration and focus, if you don't mind.
Don't forget to write.
I have to say, Hunter, you do not disappoint.
Could say the same about you. I feel
happy to.
I never thought it would.
That's.
And who?
Well, other. Just wanted. Now.
After.
You're gonna have to be more specific. I've fought a lot of 20-foot tall robots.
Like playing with fire.
No pain, no gain.
New and improved.
Hydra won't want to tussle with me now. And just sit back. Always improvements to be made.
Caretaker said I need to be a team player. So I guess I'm letting you choose for me too.
The Chaos Magic's power grows. A welcome enhancement. I feel the energy flow.
Peace.
I'm seeing the benefits of sparring. still can't believe it.
What don't you believe,
MJ, can you please drive by May's house and make sure she's okay? If she turned on the news, she's probably scared. I know you're upset too. Everyone's in the same.
This is the first time I've been here since... well, since I had to leave the Abbey.
And?
For obvious reasons, Agatha is on my mind. I can't imagine how much pressure it would be to carry that kind of secret. Of course, I'd like to know more, but I trust you're doing the best you can.
I have nothing to add, but soon, I promise.
That's all I ask. I don't know what I expected to find here.
Books, usually.
Thank you for that. I meant, Agatha and I spent so much time here, I expected to feel... I don't know, anything at all? Instead, I'm just... numb. I'm starting to feel guilty that I don't feel guilty.
I am very familiar with what you describe.
Really? Who was it for you?
The first Midnight Suns. I last saw them the day of my death. If I had not rushed off to fight my mother, all of us could have survived. When I think of them, there is an empty sadness. I can still hear their voices, picture their faces, but their absence hollows out my heart.
Ah, that's exactly it. And it's reassuring.
How so?
I'm not alone. And that means so much. Well, I should get back to my studies.
There are few who can endure what you have and still remain standing.
I don't know where I would be without friends like you.
Hunter, hello.
Agatha, a
yes,
moment?
Hunter. And why are we whispering?
Meet me in my room. We need to talk.
All right. What is this about?
Wanda knows you are in the Abbey. Last night, she overheard us speaking.
She did?
She confronted me and demanded to know where you were.
What did you tell her?
I could not lie to her. Not about this.
I'm glad you didn't. If Wanda overheard me, the rules have changed.
Should we tell her?
Yes, this evening. I'll seek you out after the mission. Here I go, stirring up trouble. Feels like old times.